Hey, Mystical Ben here, and this is World of Tanks Modern Armor. Today I'll be making a weak point guide of the M1A2 so that you guys don't have any trouble penetrating this tank in game. First I'll be going over the weak points in the garage, and then I'll be physically showing you where I aim in a custom match. So the absolute worst weak point that the M1A2 has, and all of the Abrams have the same weak point, is the upper plate. So the upper plate is only 38 millimeters thick. This means that any 120 millimeter gun or up can overmatch this, which means that it can penetrate this plate at any angle. And that's a big problem for the M1A2 because most of the tanks at Era 3 have 120 millimeter guns or more. Because of where this upper plate is located, this also means that people who RBRTU will usually hit this, and it's an awful weak point. I guess it makes sense, you know. I would say the M1A2 would probably be unbalanced if it didn't have this weak point, but yeah, I mean, really any 120 millimeter gun can shoot you in your upper plate and they'll pen every single time. If the tank that's shooting at you does not have a 120, say it has a 105, then they will auto bounce off of this. And if you only have a 105 millimeter gun, then you're going to need to aim for the driver's port or the turret ring. So this 50 millimeter section of the upper plate, this can also be penned by everything. It's just a little bit harder to aim at, I guess. Another problem with the upper plate weak point is the fuel tanks are located behind the upper plate on the left hand and right hand sides of the upper plate. I highly recommend this where you shoot. If you have 120 millimeter gun or more, aim to the left and right hand sides of the upper plate and you'll just keep hitting fuel tanks, which is going to be super annoying for who you're shooting at. Next really bad weak point on the M1A2 would be the side armor here. So it's only 30.2 millimeters thick, which means that all the 105 millimeter guns and up can overmatch you here, and they really just have to shoot low on the front drive wheel, and they can keep you permatracked and penetrate your armor every single shot. And you know, that's a problem. If people know how to exploit it, you pretty much just can't angle. Another really weak point on the M1A2, the fuel tanks by the engine. So if a tank is angled like this, you can just shoot them in their engine deck every shot, and you're shooting them right in their fuel tanks, and it's an overmatch. It's only 9 millimeters thick on the engine deck, and then 12 millimeters on the side. And you know, just to show you more, see those fuel tanks towards the rear? That's a weak point on both sides of the tank. If they happen to be angled and you can't get their drive wheel for whatever reason, and that's a good place to shoot if you have the opportunity, just because you might light a fire. M1A2 also has a cupola weak point. So this here is a guaranteed penetration, and now it's kind of a short, you know, it's not a very tall cupola, but it is very wide, and this is pretty easy to exploit if you just know where to aim, and it's not like they can really hide this very easily. Now, for really high penetration guns, you can go through the mantlet. You know, so like premium ammunition on a Challenger 2 or a Leopard 2A5 won't really have any issue going through the mantlet, at least if they're looking right at you. High penetration guns can also go through the low plate of the M1A2. This 395 millimeter plate here. There is more armor behind this low plate, but if you have a 700 or more pen, you're not going to struggle with the low plate at all. And one thing to, just keep an eye on that not many people actually realize, these 69mm side skirts are composite armor. So if you have the side of an M1A2, you really want to avoid shooting it here, especially with ATGMs, because they'll just outright absorb your ATGM or minimize their damage. But yeah, I mean, the M1A2 definitely has weak points that most, well, really all the tanks at Era 3 can exploit. I'm actually going to be shooting at the M1A2 with two different vehicles. The first vehicle will be the M1 Abrams with the standard ammunition, so 494 pen, just to show you guys where you can pen an M1A2 even if you have a low penetration gun. The second tank I'll be shooting at the M1A2 with is Challenger 2. I'll be using standard ammunition first, and then I'll be showing you what you can do with premium ammunition in a Charlie 2, or anything else with high pen on its gold rounds.
We've been detected. Punch a hole in their armor. Punch a hole in their armor. Can't penetrate their armor. We pierced their armor. Loaded and ready. Penetration. They found us. That one left a big hole. That one drilled straight through. Locked and loaded. Enemy brewed up. Punched a hole in their armor.
Alright guys, I think that will conclude my weak spot guide for the M1A2. If you have any questions, please comment below. Thank you for watching.